Ah, Sage Mode. You love it. We talk about it all the time. It's one of the most iconic power-ups in anime ever. And the beauty of Sage Mode is we've received multiple different ways that people can receive Sage Modes. We have Toad Sage Mode, which gives you things like Froggy Kumite and sometimes warts and a beard. We have Snake Sage Mode, which makes your arms dangly noodles and kind of gives you the ability to fly. And then we have whatever the hell is going on with Hashirama. Sage Mode is truly iconic and an incredible power-up. To this day, it's pretty much the only thing keeping Naruto Hokage level. But what if I told you Snake, Toad, and whatever the hell was going on with Hiruzen weren't the only kinds of Sage Mode? What if I told you there was a fourth kind of Sage Mode, an unprecedented, unparalleled kind of Sage Mode that has barely been dived into? What if I told you that this Sage Mode was so powerful that nobody's even dared to learn it amongst humans? And what if I told you I have evidence of this, and that it might, hypothetically, play a large part in the future of the Naruto universe? But before we get to spilling the beans on what the future of Naruto is going to look like, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And since we're talking about futures, let's be entirely real. One day, I'm gonna run out of Naruto things to talk about. And while that day is far away, if you like my content and you want to see me never go back to my science job, please follow my 3 other YouTube pages. The Weeb Commander, where instead of talking about Naruto, I talk about all other anime. Bleach, One Piece, JJK, AOT, MHA, Demon Slayer, Hunter x Hunter, everything. Or NC Gamer, where instead of talking anime, I play video games. Or Hammer's Collection, where instead of talking anime while sitting in this chair, I talk anime while I build those big old statues behind me. Before we get into all that, guys, today we have a brand new sponsor to the page, Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. See, Bloodline is an incredible mobile game where new legends will be born. It's a fantasy world with stunning 3D realistic graphics. But what do? Well, it's called Bloodline, which means you create your own bloodline. That is to say, you find yourself the best husbandos and or waifus, and you raise powerful heirs with them. It could truly be a husbando or a waifu because you can change the gender of your companion freely. And the higher the intimacy level that you have with your companion, the stronger the heir you bore. Yeah, that's right. The key to this game is marrying different kinds of bloodlines to strengthen your own heirs. And once you marry into enough bloodlines, you can acquire 5 unique traits out of the dozens of possible ones, giving you an almost endless way to play the game. With the help of this game's incredibly easy controls and user-friendly UI, you can build your own kingdom and economy very easily. But what kind of bloodlines can you marry into? Well, there's Lycans, a werewolf clan of assassins with a sleek design. The Fulgur, also known as demigods with their incredibly powerful AoE attacks. And if you use the link in my pinned comment or my description, you can get access to the Karg, aka the Dragonborn. And yes, they can turn into actual dragons. But that's not all you get from using my code. If you use my code right now, you will get access to a half demigod, half dragonborn heir. And when I tell you this heir is rare, I am not kidding. So what are you guys waiting for? Download the game using the link in my pinned comment or my description, or by scanning the QR code on my screen right now. And if access to the Dragonborn and a half demigod, half Dragonborn baby aren't enough for you, if you use my link right now, you'll get a starter pack worth $30 with 2 summoning crystals, 5 stamina potions, and 200 diamonds. So come on, guys, let's get to building our kingdom with Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. So Sage Mode, we've done numerous videos about it. We've ranked certain Sage Modes, explained how each and every single one works, explained how Sage Mode as a whole works. But all of those videos pale in comparison to what we're talking about today. A Sage Mode that has existed for the entirety of Naruto's timeline and yet has only ever been hinted at. A Sage Mode that might be significantly more powerful than either Toad or Snake Sage Mode. See, because today, we're talking about Monkey Sage Mode. Yes, you heard me right. Monkeys, like Monkey King Enma or Son Goku. A Sage Mode that they might possibly be able to use and might be able to possibly pass down to humans in the Naruto universe. Why are we just hearing about this now? Well, technically the idea of Monkey Sage Mode has been around forever. Well, not forever, but ever since chapter 11 of volume 60 of Naruto Shippuden. You see, when Naruto was first introduced to Son Goku said something rather interesting. It's at this point that Son Goku said, "I am Son, beautiful ape, king of the Surin caves. I am the sage king of the apes. My name bestowed upon me by the sage of 6 paths himself." You see, in this introduction, Son Goku says a couple of very interesting things. The first interesting thing that he says is that he is the king of the Surin caves. Now, the Surin caves aren't something that we've ever seen within Naruto. There's a filler character named Soiren from the Hidden Rain, but that's literally it. So it feels as though that Son Goku was referencing a place that doesn't exist within the confines of Naruto. Or is it just a place so remote that people haven't found it yet? Because we generally know where each of the nine-tailed beasts was placed by Hagoromo, and these are roughly the places that they were subsequently found by Hashirama and then caught. So it's a possibility that the only person who's ever been to these Suiren caves is Hashirama. Because truly, as the literal Naruto encyclopedia, there has never been a person who's ever been to the Suiren caves in light novels, in data books, in the manga, nothing. For all intents and purposes, they do not exist. But what's interesting is that they do exist in the real world. But here's the thing, in the real world, they're also incredibly hard to get to. You see, south of Japan, roughly halfway between Japan and Taiwan, there's an archipelago. An archipelago is a grouping of islands. And within this archipelago, there's an island called Okino-era-Bujima. And this island is a coral reef island with a bunch of limestone caves, one of which that is referred to as Soirin Cave. But this island is remote, like very remote. And therefore it's a possibility that Kishimoto could have gone to these caves or simply read about these caves and therefore used these caves to inspire the place that Son Goku leads over. Or the entire thing could be a pseudo mistranslation from Chinese to Japanese to English. Because the Shulian Cave is a cave that exists in the story The Journey to the West, an ancient Chinese story about Sun Wukong. And the story opens with Sun Wukong being born into Shulian Cave, a cave where all monkeys train and rest behind the screen of a waterfall. And therefore in English, it's usually roughly translated to the water screen and or water curtain cave. Now this is probably the correct answer to the question of what the caves Son Goku was referencing are based off of. And a little bit of interesting lore is the fact that Son Goku was actually placed in a scraggly mountainous area by Hagoromo after his creation. And that scraggly mountainous area would become the land of Earth. However, as Son Goku aged, he went to the water screen cave to become the king of the sage apes. And this is very in line with Son Goku because Son Goku is based off of Sun Wukong. But there's also two other people based off of Sun Wukong in Naruto, so my point gets a bit convoluted, but we'll get to that later. But for the moment, we now understand why Son Goku was in the cave that he was in order to fulfill his role as the Sage King of the Apes, aka Sun Wukong. So now let's talk about that Sage King bit. See, naturally us as readers are going to see the word sage associated with a giant beast and assume, okay, there's a new kind of sage mode. And this isn't an insane jump of logic to make. There's no reason for us to believe that Son Goku isn't a sage. He was, after all, just created by the Sage of Six Paths and is just made of chakra himself. We've also seen that Kurama is able to mold Senjutsu chakra to help Naruto, which means that there's no reason for us to believe that a tailed beast wouldn't be able to pull in nature chakra, mold it with their own, and then get a boost through the mode of sage mode. But why then is nobody a monkey sage? And how does Monkey King Enma play into all of this? Well, here's the thing. When Son Goku proclaimed himself the king of the apes, everybody got a little bit confused because Hiruzen summon Enma is referred to as Monkey King Enma, and Enma and Hiruzen are both based off of Sun Wukong. Enma himself can turn into a black gold-rimmed extendable bow staff that is iconic for Sun Wukong to wield, and Hiruzen, by using this staff, is representing Sun Wukong. However, Monkey King Enma being referred to as King of the Monkeys is also a reference to Sun Wukong. So how is Son Goku Sage King of the Apes if Monkey King Enma is already king of the monkeys? Well, that's the thing. Monkeys and apes are not the same thing. I know, super boring reason, but monkeys are small. I mean, they come in a variety of different sizes, but monkeys are usually like this big. Apes, on the other hand, are big, like very rip your face off big. To give an example of apes as a whole, that's gorillas, orangutans, and chimpanzees. While monkeys are mandrills, uakari, black howlers, and that's just it. One of them is the king of the monkeys, while the other is king of the apes, which is why when people talk about
why doesn't Hiruzen know monkey sage mode?
Or why isn't there a monkey sage mode? Most of the summonings that we've seen, toads, snake, and maybe even slugs, have their own respective sage modes. But monkey summonings, of which we've seen Monkey King Enma from Hiruzen and Enna from Konohamaru, don't seem to have their own sage mode. Now this could be for a myriad of reasons, but all we know is that for some reason, people who summon monkeys don't seem to be able to tap into nature chakra. But no one's ever summoned an ape. There's no gorilla summon, there's no orangutan summon, there's no chimpanzee summon. And now this is possibly because Sengoku has used his powers as a tailed beast to keep the sage apes of the world away from the rest of the world. In fact, this would technically be in alignment with the Journey to the West story. See, Sun Wukong is the first monkey brave enough to jump through the waterfall and explore the world around the cave, implying that it's entirely possible that behind this water screen cave are all of the other apes. And because this cave exists behind a waterfall, nobody outside of possibly Hashirama has ever even found it. See, because once again, if we tap into the Journey of the West as our source material, it's a possibility that Hashirama could have run into Son Goku outside of the cave, because Son Goku as the representation of Sun Wukong would be outside of the cave, exploring, trying to conquer the world. But still, in the Journey to the West, Sun Wukong did proclaim himself the king of the monkeys. And this was just before he jumped through the waterfall. So in summation, it's a possibility that Son Goku has taught himself sage art, and even possibly taught all the other apes of the Naruto world in the water screen cave the same capabilities. However, because this cave is so remote, nobody has ever found it. And to further back up this point, it's a possibility this cave might exist within Shukatsu Forest. See, it's heavily implied by Son Goku that the water screen cave exists at least near Shukatsu Forest. And for those of you who don't know what Shukatsu literally translates to in English is damp bone forest. See, within Naruto, the places where sage modes are founded and practiced are considered unexplored. This is because not only are they filled with giant senjutsu wielding monsters, they're also incredibly dangerous for a myriad of other reasons. Only 4 known humans have ever made the trip to Mount Muabuka. That's Hagoromo, Naruto, Jiraiya, and Minato. And the only reason that Minato and Naruto ever went there is because Jiraiya accidentally summoned himself to Mount Muabuka. And Hagoromo going isn't even technically canon. Only 2 people have ever gone to Ryuchi Cave. That would be Kabuto and Orochimaru. And we are not entirely sure if anyone has ever gone to Shukatsu Forest. You see, obviously Tsunade and Sakura have a summoning deal with Lady Katsuyo, and she resides within Shukatsu Forest. But we've never got actual physical confirmation that either of them have ever made a trip there. So the fact that less than 10 people have been to Sage Mode areas leads me to believe that it's not crazy that people might have missed other Sage Mode areas. Sage Mode areas where people could learn something as powerful as Ape Sage Mode, a power based off the powers of Sun Wukong, one of the most powerful mythical beings in all of fiction. Or it was a mistranslation. So now that we've done the fun part of the video, we have to do the less fun part of the video. So Japanese to English is messy work. And to explain this simply, Japanese has a couple of different words for sage. See, Sun Wukong refers to himself as a sage. And the way that Sun Wukong refers to himself as a sage is written different in kanji from all the other times that sage in the animal sage Naruto sense is written in kanji. So more likely than not, it was because Son Goku was referring to himself in the way of a sage that Sun Wukong refers to himself in the way of a sage, not in the nature energy sage way, because that is written differently from what he said. But that's not fun, which is why I want to also talk about a possible third theory. See, Sun Wukong implying that he is the sage king of the apes can mean a lot of things to different people. But more than anything, it brought up questions about somebody we've already talked about a good amount: Monkey King Enma. And this theory revolves around not separating monkeys from apes. You see, this theory revolves around the legendary Sani, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, all 3 of which have summons from the 3 great sage areas: a slug, a toad, and a snake, representing Shukatsu Forest, Ryuchi Cave, and Mount Muabuka. But here's the thing about the legendary Sani: and their teacher also has a summon, and that summon is Monkey King Enma. But it never explains where Monkey King Enma is from, which is interesting, especially when you consider the fact that Konohamaru has now been shown to be able to summon Enna, which implies that there's at least 2 different monkeys, that which have connections to the Sarutobi clan. But their connection to a clan is what's interesting. See, the Sarutobis were one of the first ever clans to come to Konoha. They were one of the Senju's earliest allies, which implies that the Sarutobis have existed within the Land of Fire for a long time. But if they've existed within the Land of Fire for a long time, it's hard to believe that these monkeys that they would have had to bump into would exist anywhere outside of the Land of Fire, which could explain how Monkey King Enma and Son Goku both became respective kings. lives. See, obviously Son Goku was placed in the place that would soon become the land of Earth, while Monkey King Enma and his respective monkeys would be in the land of Fire. Also, if we take credence from the theory we were talking about earlier that said the apes that Son Goku was teaching Senjutsu to never left the cave would kind of bolster this theory. So then, if Son Goku was a physical representation of an ape and or a monkey's ability to pull in Senjutsu chakra and thus inhabit a sage mode, why do we never see Monkey King Enma, Enno, or any of the other monkeys or people who summon these monkeys in the Sarutobis acquire a sage mode? Well, it's probably just really hard. You see, Monkey King Enma, like a lot of other summoning animals, is able to use ninjutsu, specifically transformation jutsu. See, Monkey King Enma can turn himself into an adamantite staff. Adamantite being the strongest material in the entirety of Naruto, kind of like Naruto's vibranium. A material so strong that the only thing that would be able to hurt Monkey King Enma while he's in this form is a sword of Kusanagi, a legendary mythic sword. And Monkey King Enma didn't say that this sword would slice him in half while he was in this staff mode. He just said it would leave him sore. In fact, Monkey King Enma, while in the form of this staff, is able to create shadow clones that can create a gate of staffs that stopped a deep forest emergence from Hashirama. Now, why am I talking about Monkey King Enma's ability to transform into something hard? Well, for as far as we know it, transformation jutsu as it applies to regular ninjas doesn't give you that ability. Sure, Naruto can turn into a sexy lady, Sasuke could turn into Sakura, Konohamaru could turn into somebody powerful. Naruto even went so far as to turn Gamabunta into Kurama. But all of this implies conservation of mass to a small degree. The only reason that Naruto was able to turn Gamabunta into Kurama is because they're roughly the same size. And if a ninja didn't have to listen to conservation of mass, why wouldn't every ninja use transformation jutsu to, oh, I don't know, use partial expansion jutsu? Because that's essentially what Monkey King Enma does. Mind you, he's able to stretch almost infinitely. In his staff form, he was able to push Kurama out of the village from the center of the village, all while still being adamantite. So what if Monkey King Enma is able to rewrite the way that his body is formulated, making it ultra hard, and also not having to listen to the conservation of mass by tapping into Senjutsu chakra? It would explain his power and the respect that he gets as one of the strongest summons on Earth. After all, Sage Mode works in mysterious ways. Also, if these monkeys are able to confer a Sage Mode of their own, it would confirm the legendary Sannin and their teacher in Hiruzen all having summoning animals from Sage areas. And when you consider the fact that there is quite literally only one perfect snake sage in existence, and he was created specifically for the purpose of being a perfect snake sage, the fact that nobody has learned monkey sage mode is not insane. Toad sage mode is just easy to learn because the toads are nice. They have oil that allows you to pull in nature energy. They have a stick that expels all the nature energy from your body if you pull in too much. They have systems in place to teach people toad sage mode because Hagoromo, the sage of six paths, 2,000 years ago, set the precedent that people are gonna wanna learn this. While the monkeys, truly representing Sun Wukong in all of his confidence and piety, don't wanna teach monkey sage mode to humans. Or it was a mistranslation. But what do I know? I'm just a man yelling on the internet. But if you like today's Scream into the Void, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Listen, I'm not saying that sometimes I feel like Charlie Day going through his beautiful mind moment, but I could use some red yarn right now.